بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome students of grade 6. If you remember, we left at the subject using formulas, page 154. So right now we are starting from those subject and to explain that. If you have your book, open it on that page and please pay attention carefully for what I'm explaining. When we've worked with equations, we talked about the addition when we have plus sign in equation. Then we talked about subtraction when we have minus sign of the equations. Then we talked about multiplication and division equations. Those were the equations that have divide or multiply. Today we're going to talk about using the formulas. How do we work with formulas? Formula, or what we call it equation, it's the same that, like for example, we are saying let's say 3x equal to 6. If you remember, we said between 3 and x, as the x is variable, 3 is the coefficient or the number, we have multiply. So the reverse of multiply is divide. So the result is x equal to 6 divided by 3, which is equal to 2. So that's the result. So for example, you have an example. Find how long it took Zana to ride across the bridge. The content of that example, you can find it on your book. Okay, just the equation I need is that one. D is equal to R multiply T. So when we have D, for example, D is equal to R multiply T. D, you have it as the result of 24,500. So that's the D. Then we have 500 as R. We will multiply it by T because we want to find the T. To find T, we will use the reverse operation. Reverse operation of the multiply, or inverse operation of multiply, is divide. So we're just gonna say T is equal to 24,500 divided by 500. Okay, you can find that as the way of long division, or you can just say 20 is going with 20 and then 245 divide by 5. You can do that as a long division like that. Take your time with it, find the result, and you'll find the result T is equal to 49. So the only thing in here is that we can change the place of variables by using inverse operation. And to do that, for example, if you have D is equal to R multiply T. Now I want to change the place of, let's say for example, T and D. Okay, or I want to say T is equal to something. How do I do that? When I want to find the value of that T, I need to get rid of this R. And to get rid of this R, I need to use inverse operation. So if I say T, okay, is equal to D divided by R. So now T is equal to D divided by R. I wanted T. The idea behind that inverse operation is that when I say D is equal to R multiply T, okay, now I want to find the T, so I want to get rid of this R. So if you remember in the equations, we said if 3 is equal to 3, then we can divide both of them by the same amount, like 3 divide by 3, or let's say 6 is equal to 3 divided by 6. So now those two are the same, nothing is changed, because we have the same number, we divide it by the same number. Now the same idea in here. If I just say the idea, the fraction part, if I say just d divide by r and r multiply t, both of them divide by r, right now I can find the result like that. It's r and r, so we can just say both of them are gone, so the result in here will be t. See, that r with that r will go, so t is equal to d divided by r. See, it's the same as this one, same result. The idea of using this is just for finding your result. Like for example, if you have d is equal to, like in this example, how far would Zana travel if he drove his car at the average speed of 57 kilometers per hour for 3.5 of hour. See, you have 57 kilometers per hour. Okay, so each hour he will take 57 kilometers to get to his destiny or to go in the road. So in 3.5 an hour, so you have 3 hour and a half, 3 and 1 over 2. The average speed or the distance of that travel, we will just give it a name. Any variable is fine. If you like, give it a, give it b, give it d, give it x, doesn't change the fact. Any English letter is fine. So let's say I will give it d. Okay, since we are taking 57 kilometers each hour, so I need to say 57 multiply by the time that I have it. So which time I have it? 3.5. So I'm gonna say 3.5. Just multiply those two and you will get the result. And if you remember, I gave you a paper explaining all those stuffs, how you multiply fractions, mixed numbers, and all the others. So just multiply them, you will get 199 and 1 over 2, or 199 and half. This is the result. Again, we have another example, the same thing, only you need to use the inverse operation to find your result. This time you have a decimal multiply a natural number or whole number. Okay, we have a temperature. The temperature we are most of the times using, there are two main units for temperature. Okay, one of them is Fahrenheit, we call it as the F, Fahrenheit, and the other is Celsius, as the C we write it. So there's an equation to change between those two, okay, to find the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So to do that, we will have an equation like that. We will say Celsius is equal to 5 over 9 multiply Fahrenheit minus 32. So whenever you have the Fahrenheit or Celsius, you will just put it in there and you'll find the result. Okay. For example, I think we have something else after that. Yeah, there is it. During the summer temperature in some Iraqi cities, blah blah, up to the end. So we have the Fahrenheit, okay, as the 120. We want to change that to Celsius. Celsius, I don't know, Celsius or Celsius. Okay, it doesn't change the fact. Now, we have to change that unit. How do we do that? First, we have the equation. That's the equation. We'll write it in here. Now, I will put in the place of f. It's just like that. And f is equal to 120. So instead of f, I will just write that number, nothing else, 120. So C is equal to 5 over 9 multiply 120 minus 32. So 120 minus 32 is 88, and 5 over 9 multiply 88. You know how to multiply. You will just put 1 in here. So 5 multiply 88 is 440 divided by 9. So this is, do it as a long division. Say 440 divided by 9 and find the result. It will be 48.9. So that's the temperature in Celsius. Now we will go to the practice one, but for the practice I'll check it for the another lesson. In another lecture I'll try to explain that practice, and we're gonna practice it together, and we're gonna give some homeworks to solve it again. So now just review those videos and take good care of it, and if you have any problems, any questions, you can ask and I'll gladly answer all of your questions. And that's for today, and just be safe.